Well, I say welcome again to this session. Michelle has done a good introduction, and I hope that it will be very illuminating and inspiring. And just like she said, there are a lot of explorations and experiments and adventures I take with my students, and this is one of them. We try to design things that could be solutions to immediate needs that we feel is happening around us. In August last year, in Ibadan, where I reside, I was on my way home, and it was raining, and the rain, it continued into a drizzle after some time, so I was confident enough to go on. But along the way, it became so heavy and really torrential, and that was the Ibadan famous flood of last year. And I was in it for about 5 hours. I was watching, there was a time I was watching the tides rise against the car, and I was wondering what is in this car that I'm going to pick if I have to get out, and calculating the time that if it reaches a particular level, I just have to get out of this car. And I thought of my very wonderful laptop with all the information in the world on it, and I said, this I cannot go with it. Maybe I'll live with my phone. Somehow or the other, I got through it. So when we started our exploration, it was just natural that thoughts would be veered towards this experience, especially because we've discovered that there are so many things apart from climate change that could have caused that problem that day, that could have aided that problem. And that's the basis of where we're starting this from. We'll look at the rationale. I've just told you a bit about it, methodology, the package, how we have tried to evaluate it a bit, what the pupils we've used have said, what we have learned, and our conclusion and recommendations. Like I said, these are scenes from floods in southwest Nigeria, and it's scary when you have heard a lot of things about floods and things, but it's scary when you are in it, and it was really scary for me. Okay, so maybe that's part of the psychological rationale. But apart from that, we discovered as we started looking on that a lot of problems could have caused this. And we looked into our curriculum in the basic education curriculum. And when it comes to environmental education, we have two subjects in Nigeria that this is embedded in. It doesn't stand on its own, the basic science and the basic social studies curriculum. But we found out that this curriculum did not even have flooding as a topic at all. There were some other things that were there, and as many people will tell you, these contents are usually overloaded with science and social studies content. So the environmental content of it is not really elaborated, but in our search, there wasn't even anything about the flooding. So no adequate curriculum materials to address this issue. And another thing we sort of is, well, teachers usually, because their hands are overloaded, they don't, in our previous work with them, let me say I did this with two of my postgraduate students, they don't have the time to sit down and develop materials or source for materials, and we felt, okay, this could be an input into that. And getting effective materials, like this is, there are floods in other parts of the country, in other parts of the world, but this was a peculiar situation which we really wanted to address. And we find out that there are so many other threats that are coming, and it will get more complex, and there needs to be an intervention right from the basics, right from the primary level, so that the pupils will be aware, understand, and develop the skills to help them in overcoming some of these threats, especially the areas that we feel that could be controlled, because there are some things that we feel could be controlled, and if those are controlled, the severity of these environmental threats may actually be reduced. And that's why we went into this. And we use this also to practice some of our instructional design principles. And in this case, this is a model that we've never explored before. We've used other models, but we found this very informative, very detailed, and very clear. And that is Instructional Development Methodology for Development and Evaluation of E-Content by Govindasamy, 2002. And it has all the other stages that design has also, but you will see why we were taken up with this. It goes into real. The full thing is not here, but I can say that it goes into real details, asking the particular questions that you need to go through. So you are assured that you are not missing anything out as you go in your design process. So in the analysis phase, you do a learner analysis, you do a task analysis, and then you have your deliverables, the learner profile, the task sheet info, and so on. So we went through this. We're all familiar with the steps in instructional design. The design, defining objectives, selecting strategies, and so on. The development involved preparation of first draft of the material, and so the formative evaluation and the production. Okay, so that was what guided us. And eventually we came up with this package which addresses this issue of flooding. And this, just to show you some of the screenshots of the package, we wanted something that was not sophisticated. We've worked with programmers before, we've worked with other stuff, but wanted something that we would be able to give teachers or use as a guide, even for teachers, that teachers in their holidays or things, they could also put some things together. So we were basically working with PowerPoint and then using some add-ons. We didn't want it to be sophisticated at all. And you have the welcome screen. I'll just show you some of, if I have time, we can go through the package. And each of the module 1 addressed these issues. What is flawed? Watch and tell. You had, the beauty of this is that there were a lot of pictures, we had 2 videos in it talking about this particular issue of August 2011, and various kinds of activities. And it wasn't just an information that you are going to deliver to the students, the pupils. They were supposed to experience it live, experience it really, happening, in the what was really happening, rain drizzling and things like that, and then describe what they are seeing and describe what a flood is. That's module 1. In our module 2, now this is an area that we were really very concerned about, and that is misconceptions. We found out that there are a lot of misconceptions people have about flooding, and I'll just share one of it. There's one of the goddesses in the Yoruba land called Yemoja, and when there's a flood like that, some people actually believe that this goddess is angry. And what you need to do is to appease the goddess, despite the fact that people could still be doing things that are that could cause the flooding. They still pack things, they still pack food and things like that. So we wanted to explore what kind of misconceptions that people had that could cause that could the human aspect, the human faults there. And we had a jingle here, and they had to find out, they had to discuss it, look at what this jingle was all about, what was the misconception, what was the right thing in that jingle, and so on. Then they had to find out other misconceptions, and we discovered that, these children also, even at that age, they already had some misconceptions about flooding. when you throw garbage at the riverbed, the water pushes it away, so that's the best place to put it, things like that. And those are practices that could really cause problems for us. So there are other activities, some of the words that they are not used to, we put it in as a puzzle and so on. Okay, so these are some screenshots from the activity. You have the watch and tell. All these materials, we got them, online. We got them. There are things that are there, but we teachers may not have the time to, sit down and pull together in a package. So that's module 1 and 2.